In this video, we are going to be looking at the part 2 of string functions. This is in the SQL Basics series, and this is going to be how to reverse a string. We are going to be looking at SQL Server in this demo. However, other SQL languages, there will be various ways to reverse a string, and you'll want to use those ways. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look at some of what we've already learned with car index, and we're going to look at that in the context of reversing strings. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to be doing some live coding here. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to declare the string variable, and I'm going to do var car 100, and it's going to be the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs, and this is just for space. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the period. Okay, so oops, did that. There we go. Okay, so what we learned last time, if we were to select the car index and we were to select the search expression, and we were going to search for T, and we were going to search string. I'm actually, just for the sake of this, I'm going to lowercase all of this so that we can keep it simple. What we found is that this is going to return where it first finds the first instance of that, where it finds, I should say, the first instance of that. We can also specify, for instance, we see that it finds T in the first. We can actually specify the next character over, and then it will find the next one, and we see that's 33. And so that's what we learned with car index. Well, one of the things that we can do, because sometimes we want to find the opposite, is we can reverse a string. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually reverse the string, and we'll see what happens when we reverse it. I'm going to go ahead and just comment this out. And we'll see what this does is this takes this entire string and it flips it completely backwards, right? Now keep in mind, if we were to apply, in fact, I'll take this, we'll just say string reversed. If we were to apply car index now to this, if I were to say select car index, and I were to say T, but this time I were to pass in the reverse of the string, this is going to get the inverse of that. Let's see, car index reversed. But we have to think about that in the context of what it's doing here is it's looking at it backwards, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that is where it's going to be in terms of the position on a normal basis. If we remember correctly, in fact, as I'm doing this example, I'm like, the problem with this sentence is there only two T's? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think it's this one. I don't think there is another T. So I think it's this one and this one it's referring to. But I might be wrong, because this sentence, there's actually letters in this sentence that it doesn't seem like there is until you look at it more in depth. But we know that if we look at this way and we look at it at 2, we remember that this was actually 33. When we reverse it, it's 13, right? So we want to always be thinking about these in context with each other. So one of the things that I like to do is to think about, okay, so if I'm reversing a string and we have it, it's the 13th when it's reversed, well, then we think about what is the context of the string here. So if I were to say select and I were to do length, oops, it's length of string. Too many languages in my head. This is the problem, string length. And I were to say string length, and this will start making more sense in a second. Actually, I'm going to go ahead now and uncomment this, and I'm going to say second T. Yeah, we'll just do second T. I was going to say straight, but that's not the case. We look at it and we see that the string length is 45. And some of you are seeing where I'm going with this, right? Some of you are starting to pick up on the pattern here. So if the length of the string is 45, and we see that when I do the inverse, well, if I subtract the 45 minus 13, what I get, I'm such an American here, which is I get 32, right? So but remember, part of that is I'm coming backwards, right? So that's why you might, but why isn't it 33? Well, because I'm coming backwards, right? So one of the ways to think about that is this is really 13 minus 1, right, which is 12. Well, 45 minus 12 is 33, which is actually where that second T is at. So now that I've said the logic aloud, let's write it. By the way, this is the reason why people don't do live coding. Again, you're not actually supposed to do this, but it's more fun for me to do. But so what we're doing here is we're saying, okay, so we want the string length. So that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this. So select, we're going to do the length of the string, which is 45. Remember, we're trying to get that second T here. And we're going to subtract that, and I'm going to wrap this eventually. And we're trying to subtract that from where this position is. Well, what we did to get to that position is we reversed the string, and we had that car index of t. But remember, it's -1 because of where that position is. Because remember, we're starting from the end backwards. We're not starting from forward, right? So when people are like, well, why would that be the case? It's because of where we're starting, right? So if I sit there and I take this here, and I'm going to turn this also into an equation, and I'm going to do that -1, and I take the length of the string, and I subtract it that way, we shall see that we get 33. Now, oh yeah, of course I did this. This is the second t. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, of course, is we want to check our work here. And so this is going to be a little tricky because I am going to try to find another letter that I can do this with. I was going to choose S, but that's not good because it's at the very end. Is there another letter here that only appears twice? I love this sentence. It's just the greatest sentence in the world because you really have to look at it. Because the O appears like 3 times. Oh, no. O appears 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just 4 times. I don't know. We could do O. We could do, we could try to find the ending O. Yeah, let's go ahead and do O. Yeah, that's, I can't think of another. Oh, I think R appears only twice. Let's actually do R. So first of all, we'll do the first R. We're not going to do this. We'll do just R. First R. Okay, hold on. I'm going to comment this out. And so let's find, where is the, oh, whoops, wrong letter. That's 12, brown. Okay, so then if I start at 13, is there another one that I'm not seeing? Yes, 31. That's that one. Over would be correct. Okay, we'll just one last one. We'll just do 32, and there should be nothing after that. Yeah, 0. Okay, cool. So 13, 31. So this is the second R, actually. So it's 31. Okay, so we have our second R. Okay, so we're going to apply the same logic. Which we're going to do is we're going to get the second R by doing the reverse. So we're not going to try to do this logic. Instead, if there were 2 in the sentence, we want to get it in reverse. So all we would have to do with our logic is apply this. And we're taking the length of the string, and we're getting the second R, and we remember that it was 31. Second R, reversed. Second reversed R. And we should get 31 the same, and we do. And so that's one of the ways we can fact check that. And by the way, let's go ahead and let's pick on O, because might as well. Why don't we do one that actually has a lot, that appears a lot, just to show this demo out. Okay, so we're going to, again, pull this logic. This is going to be really long, so I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's over 40 to get the last O, because there's 4 of them. It's amazing how many O's there are in this sentence. It's just not very common in English. Yeah, that one, and that one. That looks right. I don't think there's anything after this, but we'll see. Because I think the sentence is, oh yeah, because it's only 45, so that's right. So it was 43, is that right? 40 is 43, right? Second O. This is actually 4th O. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to, again, take the same logic here, and we are going to apply O, and we are going to get the last O, and this will be the 4th reversed O, and we will get 43. And we see that. So you can see in this video, what we're doing is we're applying the car index with reverse. We can reverse a string, and we can get the ending character instead of the first. But we also see how that works with the length of the string, right? Because when we reverse it, where our position marker is a little bit different than if we're going forward. So that's why when you're wondering, well, why are you subtracting 1? It's because of that position element. So as we see, and you can, again, experiment with all the different letters in this sentence if you want, the ones that appear multiple times. Obviously, if they, like, I think Z only appears once. Yeah, X and Z usually are only going to appear once in a sentence. Then you can go ahead and do that and see. But as we see, we can apply this reverse function here with car index, and we're able to get the last one instead of the first one.